Everyone, it's Lance, and today I've got the Yoto Lion out, and we're going to do a throttle only test on it and see how far this 48 volt 20 amp hour battery will take this awesome, I have to say awesome, cargo bike. And along the way I'm going to talk about some of the things that I love about this bike and some of the things I think could be improved upon. So come along, it's bound to be a great ride because it is a great day out. It is nice. It's bright, it's sunny, no clouds in the sky. It's about 75 degrees. And it's shaping up to be an awesome day and an awesome ride. So we're going to take this down my favorite local trail, the one I do all my bike testing on. And we'll see how far we'll go. I zeroed out the miles so I could get an accurate reading. Just got to remember that if I stop, I can't turn the battery off. Otherwise, it automatically clears the mileage. But let's get into Actually, I need to pull over here first and raise a seat. I am just down way too low. Let me come over here. And then I can actually show you one of the things that I like about the bike that comes with the bike. There, let me turn it off. Okay, I'm going to raise the seat. But if you notice, it comes with a suspension seat post, which is nice. It means you don't have to go out and buy one, and it does a pretty good job, especially for a guy my size. So if you're smaller than me, it might even work better. All right, let's give that a shot. Yeah, my knees were just almost up into my chin. Okay. Oh yeah, that feels much better. Let me raise the camera up a little. All right, let's get back on the trail here. Actually, let's do a little off-roading. I haven't done any off-roading on this yet. Let's see how it does. Yeah, it did okay. All right, so that suspension seat post is one of the things that I do like. It comes with the bike. So you don't have to go out and buy one yourself. Now, what are some of the other things I like about this bike? Well, I have to say, it's power. And for a cargo e-bike, you definitely need a motor with power. Now this bike will go 30 miles an hour on throttle only. But I believe its bigger strength is in the torque this motor puts out. For those of you who really plan on using this as a cargo bike and plan on hauling some heavy weight, I think that's what that motor is really designed for. And I think a lot of people will, if they're getting it for the cargo purpose, to haul around a lot of weight, maybe for work, maybe on your farm, maybe around your house, you'll probably find that you're gonna haul it without pedaling. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing this throttle only test, to see how long this battery will last and how far it'll take us. Because if you're hauling a lot of weight, it means you're probably riding much slower. And if you got the weight behind you, it may not be too advantageous to try and pedal at the same time. So using the throttle with a torquey motor to get that weight going, is probably what I see a lot of people doing. And that's what this bike has. Now, what are some of the other things I like? The brakes. These brakes brake. They're good. They're good. And it's not often. Ooh.
Walking around the lake.
U-turn. Go over here. But like I was saying, it's not often that on these bigger heavy e-bikes with the fat tires that the rear brake seems just as strong as the front brake. You know, because there's a lot of times on some of these where you're going pretty good and you try and stop just using the back brake, that it seems weak. It seems weak. So you end up, using both brakes at the same time. But on this one, the back brake has a lot of power. And what I like about it too is it doesn't lock up very easy. It's kind of like having anti-lock brakes. They will lock up, but it takes a lot of effort. But if they don't lock up, that means they're actually gripping the ground even harder to help you stop. And the front brakes are just as strong. And what else do I like about this bike? Well, the overall design. The design of this bike, you can tell that it's built to be a cargo bike that can haul heavy weight. And the paint job, the welds, they're all top notch. There's nothing on this bike that really looks funky and strange. It makes you go, why does it look like that? Why did they do that? Better slow down. The speed was sneaking up on me. I was doing 24 miles an hour and I didn't realize it. I thought I was doing 15. Which is another thing I like about this bike. It rides really nice. Like I said, I was doing 24 miles an hour and it felt like 15. So I'm not going to say it's the smoothest ride in the world, but I think the longer wheelbase just makes it feel more secure, more steady. See, look at that, 25. I need to stop that. Okay, what else do I like about this bike? Well, it's not something I would use, but this bike has the seat platform on the back where you can haul a passenger, a couple kids. It also comes with the running boards for your passenger or your kids to put their feet on. And when you do have those on, this bike kind of has a nostalgic look to it. It looks like the old Woodies that you would see around the beaches back in, I guess, the 50s and maybe the 60s. And it's kind of an awesome look. And I do like the fact that this comes with a very strong battery, 48 volt, 20 amp, and you can also get this version with a dual battery to add even more. Let's go over here, do a little gravel riding. We'll see where we are at 5 miles. So far, it's just under 3.5, or it's about 3.5, and no bars on the battery have gone down yet. But I wouldn't expect it to this soon. All right, so what are some of the other things I like about this bike? Well, I've talked about it being a very strong motor. It climbs hills pretty decently. Not as good as the Engwe did, but it still got me up hills. And that's a testament to that strong, torquey motor. Okay, a few other things I like about this bike. And these are the littler things that may not matter to you so much, but I like that they came with this bike. Now, the grips, they're a leather ergonomic grip with a twist throttle, and they're very comfortable on the hands. And I also like the fact that it comes with blinkers right here, where you can see my thumb. Blinkers. That's a nice touch, especially if you plan on doing a lot of riding on the street and in traffic. Excuse me. And the other thing I do like, I just didn't do it when I passed those people because I didn't want to scare them. I was too close. The horn. I like the electronic horn. Now it is a little loud, so if I'm going to pass people, I kind of got to do it far away so I don't suddenly scare them and startle people and make them jump into my lane. All right, so now let's talk about some of the things I think could be improved upon. And I think the number one thing is how low these handlebars are. I am really in that classic mountain bike attack position. So I know later on after this ride, my forearms are probably gonna be a little tired because they're keeping my upper body up. So I'd like to see them come out with handlebars that are higher up to give you a more upright riding position. I'd like to see them come up to about here, so my forearms are more straight across like this, like that. It's going to put less stress on your arms. But some people like this type of riding position. But for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, they'd want to be more upright. All right, I had to stop over there for an incoming phone call, but where was I? The riding position. Yes, I think a lot of people would prefer a more upright riding position. So they're sitting more straighter up, because I'm really hunched over. I'm in the classic mountain bike type position. I'm just really hunched over, so there's a lot more of my upper body weight being put on my forearms. So I imagine by the end of the day, after this ride, my forearms will be a little tired. But what else do I think could be improved upon? Well, I think this front rack, but that would go with raising the handlebars, because right now the handlebars are real close to the top of this rack, this front rack. So if you're carrying something big that, say, takes up this whole space, you're going to limit your turn radius because these handlebars will hit it. So I think if they did raise the handlebars up, it gives that much more cargo space up there. Now, what else do I think they could improve upon? I would actually like to see them make this bike, same frame style, but with 20-inch wheels on front and back. Right now, this has a 26-inch wheel on the front and a 20-inch wheel on the back. And I do believe that improves, the cargo capacity, the way it rides when you're riding. And I do believe it helps with the top speed. But I'd like to see a version come out that has 20-inch wheels front and back. But that's not a knock on this version of the bike. That's just something I thought of that I'd like to see. And what is another thing that I think could be improved on? Well, those running boards. There's two things about those running boards. First one is the way they're mounted. They just slide into a hole. So it's metal on metal, and it's held in by a screw and a lock nut on one side each. So if you don't have a rider on it, and you're hitting bumps like this, it rattles a lot. It's just da 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 da. But if somebody's riding and they got their feet on it, you're not going to hear that. But that's one thing I think they could find a way to improve on, and how to attach it to the bike so it's more secure without all the rattling. Now, with that being said, the other thing that I think they could improve upon on those running boards is not make them so long, because I do hit them on my heel when I'm pedaling. Because I pedal on the balls of my feet, not the middle of my foot. So if I have my foot, just the ball of my foot, just a little too far back, my heel will hit the edge of the running boards. Like I said, I do like those running boards when they're on. It gives it that nostalgic woody look. Those old cars that had the wood panels on the side. It kind of gives it that nostalgic look. And I think it'd be cool to have that look and riding around the beach. Maybe figure out a way to attach your surfboard to this. That'd be nice. Okay, so I'm gonna open her up here. I don't see any people or any oncoming riders, so I'm doing 27, 28. Got a little headwind. 29. Gotta watch these low-hanging trees. 29.7. I'm on a slide uphill now. So yeah, I mean, this thing just rides so stable. It doesn't feel like I'm almost doing 30 miles an hour. Now, it may look like that on the GoPro, but we'll have to see. Okay, I'm gonna let her off some. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to this bike that I don't like. There's definitely a lot more likes than dislikes. But like I said, I think there's a few things they could do some improving on. And I think they already have some. I think I noticed on their website that they said this now has a torque sensor. The version I got has a cadence sensor. So I think that's just a recent development. So you definitely, if you can get a torque sensor on a bike, go that route. I think you're going to be much happier. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about with the difference between a cadence sensor and a torque sensor, here, let me try and explain it to you. So on a cadence sensor, this is what most e-bikes were made with originally, before, you know, more technology has been introduced. So that means if you just pedal the bike a little without even putting any force on the pedals, just turning the pedals, it engages the motor. And on some bikes, it just takes you to the top speed. Other bikes where they have it adjusted so you only go to whatever PAS level you're in. Say if you're in PAS level 1 and the top speed of PAS level 1 is 10 miles an hour, it'll take you right to 10 miles an hour. And if you're in PAS 5, it'll take you to max speed. So in this case, max speed on this bike is 30 miles an hour. See, so like I'm doing right now, I'm just barely turning the pedals, not putting any effort onto them or anything. And you can see the speed is just increasing. I'm at 27, 28, 29, 30. And I'm just barely rotating the pedals. That's what a cadence sensor does. Now a torque sensor is more like riding a regular bike. You have to put some effort in. So if you're in PAS level 1 and you're pedaling, you're probably going to get very little battery power or motor power. It's going to be you giving more power to the bike. You're pedaling. And that's how it is through all the levels. Now each level will give you more power. But the good thing about it is like I have several bikes now that have the torque sensor. And I just leave it in PAS 5. Because even in PAS 5, if I'm pedaling and I'm putting power in, if I'm not putting a whole lot of stress on it and I just want to cruise slower, you can do that. It's all about how much pressure you're putting on the pedals. So if you're only putting a little pressure on it, it's only going to give you a little power, even if you're in PAS 5. And when you need a lot of assist, then you start pedaling a little harder, and it gives you a lot more power. And of course, you can always use a throttle and override it all. But that's the difference between cadence and torque. And torque is definitely the way to go. It is more of a natural bike riding feeling. All right, we just passed the 10 mile mark. Still showing full batteries. We'll see how long that lasts though, because I have several bikes with 48 volt 20 amp batteries that do something similar, and then we start to see it drop a couple bars just a little faster. So let's get to the 15-mile mark and see how it does. I will check in with you at the 15-mile mark, which for you will be instantaneous. For me, it's going to be about another 4.5 miles. All right, there's 15 miles. And even though it shows all bars still, I did see it drop one, but then it came back. So I think it's fluctuating. I think one is going to be gone permanently real soon. There it goes. But let's keep going. Let's see if we can get to 20 miles. All right, we are now doing some neighborhood riding, and we are coming up on the 20-mile mark. Just about a tenth of a mile here. We'll see how things are doing. There it is, 20 miles. And it shows we're still only down one bar, but I've seen it fluctuating on 2 bars now. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, I gave it some throttle and it went down. So we're down 2 bars, 20 miles, 3 bars to go. Are we going to get 25? Okay. We're coming up on 25 miles here in a tenth of a mile. Oh, no, there it is, 25. So we're at 25 miles. It shows we're still down 2 bars, but it just got rid of one, so we're down 3 bars. I haven't seen any drop in the wattage yet, but I have 2 bars left. 25-mile mark. I am going to point this back towards home so I don't end up short. I'm having to pedal this thing home without power on my own. But it's done a pretty good job so far. Are we going to get 30 miles? Let's see if we're going to get 30 miles before watts start to drop. All right, we are going to call it right there because I'm down to 1 bar, and when I give it the throttle, that 1 bar disappears. And I do see my watts dropping. So it looks like we got 29.5 miles out of the battery, and that's not bad considering I'm a 250-pound guy and I've been doing throttle only. So if you're not just doing throttle only and you're pedaling, you're going to get better, and if you're lighter than me, you're going to get better too. So there you have it, 29.5 miles. All right, you have a great day, a great week, a great ride, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.